on each other. George Foreman has that serious look. Ali definitely talking. Moves slow. Ali gets the first punch in. Looking to drop that left hook. Very even fight. Ali, a sneaky right hand. Another sneaky right hand. This time he works over the shoulder of Foreman. This is a combination.
Muhammad Ali was an American professional boxer and activist. Nicknamed the Greatest, he is regarded as one of the most significant sports figures of the 20th century and is frequently ranked as the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time. In 1999, he was named Sportsman of the Century by Sports Illustrated and the Sports Personality of the Century by the BBC. Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. was born on January 17, 1942, at Louisville General Hospital. He grew up and lived here at 3302 Grand Avenue with his parents Odessa and Cassius Clay Sr. and his brother Rudolph. All attended public schools that were mostly black, including Central High School. The Clay family was part of the black middle class of West End Louisville, which was racially separated. Yet here is where young Clay's values were instilled, transforming him into three-time heavyweight champion and world-renowned humanitarian Muhammad Ali.
I'm gonna float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. George can't hit what his hands can't see. Now you see me, now you don't. He think he will, but I know he won't. They tell me George is good, but I'm twice as nice. And I'm gonna stick to his butt like white on rice.
On November 19, 2005, Ali and his wife Lonnie Ali opened the $60 million nonprofit Muhammad Ali Center in downtown Louisville. In addition to displaying his boxing memorabilia, the center focuses on core themes of peace, social responsibility, respect, and personal growth. On June 5, 2007, he received an honorary doctorate of humanities at Princeton University's 260th graduation ceremony. Born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky, he began training as an amateur boxer at age 12. At 18, he won a gold medal in the light heavyweight division at the 1960 Summer Olympics and turned professional later that year. He became a Muslim after 1961. He won the World Heavyweight Championship, defeating Sonny Liston in a major upset on February 25, 1964, at the age of 22. During that year, he denounced his birth name as a quote-unquote slave name and formally changed his name to Muhammad Ali. In 1966, Ali refused to be drafted into the military owing to his religious beliefs and ethical opposition to the Vietnam War and was found guilty of draft evasion and stripped of his boxing titles. He stayed out of prison while appealing the decision to the Supreme Court, where his conviction was overturned in 1971. He did not fight for nearly 4 years and lost a period of peak performance as an athlete. Ali's actions as an objector to the Vietnam War made him an icon for the larger counterculture of the 1960s generation, and he was a very high-profile figure of racial pride for African Americans during the Civil Rights Movement and throughout his career. As a Muslim, Ali was initially affiliated with Elijah Muhammad's Nation of Islam, otherwise known as NOI. He later disavowed the NOI, adhering to Sunni Islam. He fought in several historic boxing matches, including his highly publicized fights with Sonny Liston, Joe Frazier, including the fight of the century, the biggest boxing event up until then. Also the Thrilla in Manila, and his fight with George Foreman in the Rumble in the Jungle. Ali thrived in the spotlight and at a time when many boxers let their managers do the talking, and he became renowned for his proactive and outlandish persona. He was famous for trash talking. He often freestyled with rhyme schemes and spoken word elements of hip-hop. He often predicted in which round he would knock out his opponent.
What would you like people to think about you when you've gone?
I'd like for them to say he took a few cups of love. He took 1 tablespoon of patience, 1 teaspoon of generosity, 1 pint of kindness. He took 1 quart of laughter, 1 pinch of concern, and then he mixed willingness with happiness. He added lots of faith, and he stirred it up well. Then he spread it over a span of a lifetime, and he served it to each and every deserving person he met.
Outside of boxing, Ali attained success as a spoken word artist, releasing 2 studio albums, I Am the Greatest, 1963, and The Adventures of Ali and His Gang vs. Mr. Tooth Decay, 1976. Both albums received Grammy Award nominations, and he was also featured as an actor and writer, releasing 2 autobiographies. Ali retired from boxing in 1981 and focused on religion, philanthropy, and activism. In 1984, he made public his diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, which some reports attributed to boxing-related injuries, though he and his specialists disputed this. He remained an active public figure globally, but in his later years made fewer public appearances as his condition worsened, and he was cared for by his family. Ali was married 4 times and had 7 daughters and 2 sons. Ali's daughter Hannah wrote, quote, "His love for people was extraordinary. I would get home from school to find homeless families sleeping in our guest room. He'd see them on the street, pile them into his Rolls Royce, and bring them home. He'd buy them clothes, take them to hotels, and pay the bills for months in advance." Unquote. She also said celebrities like Michael Jackson and Clint Eastwood would often visit her father. As a world champion boxer, social activist, sex symbol, and pop culture icon, Ali was the subject of numerous creative works that included books, films, music, video games, TV shows, and many others. Muhammad Ali was often dubbed the world's quote-unquote most famous person in the media. Several of his fights were watched by an estimated 1 to 2 billion viewers between 1974 and 1980. And his lighting of the torch of the 1996 Atlanta Olympics was watched by an estimated 3.5 billion viewers. Ali remains the only 3-time lineal heavyweight champion. He is the only boxer to be named Fighter of the Year 6 times and was involved in more Fight of the Year bouts than any other fighter. He was one of the only 3 boxers to be named Sportsman of the Year by Sports Illustrated. Muhammad Ali was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in its first year and held wins over 7 other Hall of Fame inductees during an era that had been called the Golden Age of heavyweight boxing. The Associated Press ranked him as the 2nd best boxer and best heavyweight of the 20th century. His joint records of beating 21 boxers for the world heavyweight title and winning 14 unified title bouts stood for 35 years. Ali was then hospitalized in Scottsdale, Arizona on June 2, 2016 with a respiratory illness. Though his condition was initially described as fair, it worsened, and he died the following day at the age of 74 from septic shock. Ali's funeral had been pre-planned by himself and others for several years prior to his actual death. The services began in Louisville on June 9, 2016 at Freedom Hall on the grounds of the Kentucky Expo Center. On June 10, 2016, the funeral procession passed through the streets of Louisville, ending at Cave Hill Cemetery, where his body was interred during a private ceremony. A public memorial service for Ali at downtown Louisville's KFC Center was held during the afternoon of June 10th. Billy Crystal gave the eulogy. The pallbearers included Will Smith, Lennox Lewis, and Mike Tyson. Ali's memorial was watched by an estimated 1 billion viewers worldwide.